from a military family. I'm just somebody who happened to be in the right place at the right time 30 years ago when I was working at art supply store nearby in West LA, and I met Peter Stewart, and seemed friendly. He was putting on a free airbrush demonstration, and we just started to get to know each other a little bit, and he was a real interesting fellow. He had a parrot that he brought everywhere with him, and it was with him that day, crackers. And he was very artistic and very much of a gentle soul. He was just a kind, generous person that really impressed me as just somebody that really cared about people. He cared about animals. He especially wanted to do something for his fellow veterans. And he had done, 2 years prior in 1992, the Venice POW MIA You Are Not Forgotten mural. And I had only been in Los Angeles for about a year at the time when I met Peter. So he told me he had a plan. He was hoping to create this enormous mural at the VA underpass. And I was not familiar with, I had no reason to be coming here, and I hadn't yet seen his other murals. So I went over to the Venice mural, and that was a very moving experience, to say the least. And then I came over here to see what the underpass looked like, and there were gray, drab concrete walls, and it was really kind of depressing. And I know Peter's vision was to do exactly what someone had said earlier, was to make veterans feel welcome and at home here with brightly colored artwork and symbols that resonated with them of individual companies, of their units, and I feel like he's really done that. And he's somebody I knew for a short time 30 years ago, and 30 years later, he's having an impact in my life in ways that are mysterious and amazing. And I want to thank Claire Haggerty and Zoe Talapros from Metro, because they've had a huge part in this. And I especially want to thank the nonprofit who has designed the new Veterans Legacy mural, Piece by Piece. They're an amazing arts program that provide mosaic arts instruction to people in need, including veterans. And I especially want to thank Dawn Mendelson, because she has really done so much. I can't even begin to say. And these people that I've met, I finally met Shad. I had heard about him 30 years ago, and we met 1 year ago. I just met Larry just weeks ago, and I've met Anna, and my life has changed in the past 2 years in ways I just never would have imagined. So I'm going to give it over to Shad, and he's going to tell you a little more, and I'll have some props that I can bring up. Introduce.
Get back to Peter, because the whole story today, I think, is about Peter, his life and his work. I met Peter in his van. We've got pictures of it, and his parent. I was on a homeless run in Venice back in the late 80s. John Kevaney, who eventually became the founder of this New Directions, was a colleague of mine, and actually, more than that, he almost executed me as a client back in the 80s. But anyway, I met him, and I was trying to figure out whether, today we call someone living in their van homeless. I didn't consider him homeless, but he needed to get some kind of benefits or whatever. And he was very unique. I mean, the guy didn't have a mean bone in his body. His parent was probably meaner than he was. I found that out a few times sitting in his van. But after we got his benefits, he wanted to do something for me. And first he did a self-portrait, which I didn't bring today, in my office of himself. And that story, that's not the poster, but let me tell my story, because that's how we get there. My story was getting him his rape, his PTSD, and for that, he did, part of the treatment was do a self-portrait, which I have in my office. Second, he wanted to do a mural, and believe it or not, he got Santa Monica or whatever, and our mural is in Venice on Pacific. It's all the POWs from my war. I'm a Vietnam vet, U.S. Army captain, 1970. And he did this whole thing there, and we had to pull all kinds of strings. We helped get paint or whatever. We had homeless volunteers painting our wall. And it was a tremendous, we had a celebration with flyovers. We didn't have the mayor, but we had the head of Santa Monica bus lines, and we had media. I've still got the video, I can't believe it, in '92. And then he said, you know, I brought him up here to meet John Kevaney, who was working up here as a janitor before he did this project. And he looked at the underpass and he says, can we get this, can we do something here? It's just bland. And John was pretty connected here, and we got the director, after he saw the wall for the National Veterans Foundation done, we finally got it approved. And that's when things really got to happen. And I know I was busy because I was running a national program, the National Veterans Foundation, but the people that he got, particularly his head painter, was Patricia Senza, who every time I came to meet with Peter, she wasn't there. Young, maybe she got married. She was a very young woman then. She's very young today. Other than her hair, she looks the same. And ran up to me at the Memorial Day presentation with Mayor Bass back in year before last, and came up and said, "You're Shad," and that's how we got together. And we decided, I had already met Metro way before Claire, I forget the other woman, about the fact that 5 years or 6 years ago they had me come down there because there was a lot of smoke about tearing down the Veterans Wall and whatever, and I was going to be an intermediary. And but things have progressed so well. Then Claire came into it, and I think things are going pretty smooth. I think we have a program. Patricia's gotten involved, and she's working with the new artwork. And I tell you, there's some people in this room, particularly Larry and George, that I love like brothers. I've been with them way before New Directions. I go back 53 years in this city, and it's just an honor to be here and honor Peter, because I buried over 20 of my clients in that cemetery in my first 5 years in the 70s, mostly Vietnam vets. And I'm just blessed to still be alive and doing the work, but you guys are doing it, and I love you. And I love everybody else that's here too, don't get me wrong, the chaplain I met, but these guys, we were in before it was happening, and that's what I love. From the dirt up. Anyway, God bless.
Oh, you wanted to say? Okay, I need to clarify. So if anybody wants to come up and see later, I have the original sketches from 1994 that Peter asked me to do to get the approval and the funding to go ahead with the mural. He said, I can't pay you, but if you are interested, and I was so thrilled to be invited as a young artist at the age of 27 to be involved. And when he called me to tell me the project had been green-lighted, he was so gracious and complimentary. He said, you know, your illustrations really made the difference in getting this approved. That's just the kind of person he was. And I still have these. I keep everything, so I still have it years later. So it was really, the artwork is not my artwork. I did some sketches, I helped paint it, but everything that you see was really Peter. It was Peter's vision, and we're just honored to support him. Me and all the guys from New Directions, and many of them are long gone now, that came over and just picked up a paintbrush. It was sort of we say like a Tom Sawyer, Huckleberry Finn situation or whatever, and they'd come over and they'd end up painting all day, and I think it was beneficial for all of us. So I just want to say thank you again to everyone who's here today.